What's going on, golf addicts? It's the Luxury Car Championship 2022 betting podcast and preview show. It's the second event of the FedEx Cup Playoffs 2022. We're the Tour Junkies. I'm DB. I got Pat Perry with me. Pat,
What's up?
I'm doing a little G&T again tonight. A little G&T for me. What you got, buddy? You Savannah Banana shirt on.
You know what, DB? I'm doing something it's become a rare occasion on the show. I'm not drinking beer right now. I'm drinking Tito's.
Hell yeah.
I'm drinking Tito's. It's a Tito's night for me, and I'm excited about it.
Yes. Well, I'm happy to hear it. As always, we are presented to you by our friends at Covers. Winning starts at covers.com. The betting article did pretty good last week. We hit 2 out of 3 head-to-head matchups. We hit a top 20, I believe. I think we had JT posting on there.
We had Mullinax actually as a top 20 at plus 650
on the Covers article last week.
Oh, you're talking about the Covers article.
Yeah,
sorry. I thought you were talking about the betting show we did.
No, I'm talking about the Covers article. We'll talk about the betting show here in a second. But yeah, so check it out. The exclusive head-to-head matchups and top 20 picks every single week on covers.com. Bunch of free, really good content coming out too for the NFL over on covers.com. So check that out. Winning starts at Covers. Yeah, Pat. I mean, listen. Me and Sam told you, boy. We told you.
Why do we need to talk about this right off the start? I mean,
we told you Willie Z was going to win a dang thing. We told you it was going to happen. You didn't even want to say his name. You basically got bullied. You know, you got bullied. You got bullied out.
I did. Y'all bullied my ass, and and then you just like rode my coattails to Willie Z's win. And you know what? I think it partly is because of me. I said I wasn't going to say his name. I was true to it. I didn't say his name one time. I don't even think I said the letter Z the entire show. And then he wins. So what are you talking about? Sam's in here talking about it wasn't because of you. How do you know, Sam? The reverse jinx works.
Listen, dude, it was so funny. It was so funny because you were all over it, Sedgefield. You know, we got into it about Sedgefield. And then I just knew. I knew. Sam knew. We both knew. Now, Willie Z, the first look betting show last week got up he was as high as 26-1. I think by the time we did the betting show, he was down to 22 or something. I talked about him, said I liked it. I thought this was the week for Willie Z. He couldn't make it on my betting card because of my self-imposed 25-1 rule. But
he couldn't make it to mine either because I was bullied. I was bullied into him not being on the card.
I've been saying I think we need to bring bullying back. I really think people need to be bullied again because
adult bullying. Like maybe not kid bullying, or do you think kid bullying should be back too?
I think kid bullying should be back.
Like across the board, a bunch of bullying should be back.
Yeah, because think about it. Like in the 2010s, those kids didn't get bullied. And so now they're just offended and butthurt about everything. And they whine and they piss and moan about everything because they can. And it's because all the anti-bullying stuff that was pervasive in the schools. I think, no, you need to bring back bullying. Because then if you're dumb and you say something stupid or, you don't want to bet Willie Z, you deserve to be bullied. And then you learn your lesson. You know what I mean? Willie Z's an elite player.
No, I was bullied.
He's an elite player. We've been telling you this all the time. How did you not see it?
I was bullied for betting Willie Z, not for not betting him. I mean, we need to go back 2 shows.
Last week. Yeah, that's true, producer Sam. At almost half the price you wanted to bet him.
I was bullied 2 weeks in a row, basically.
Well,
you know what? Probably deserved it. I'm not against this bring back bullying thing.
You kind of like the campaign?
I mean, if it's going to help me win some money, yeah.
Listen, man, what a playoff that was too. I mean, it was like it was just kind of weird. I mean, they played 18 pretty well the first time, and then the second time, both of them dang near hit it out of bounds. I mean, I guess Sepp took a drop and then threw a dart, and Willie Z makes that putt on top of him. And then they go to the par 3. I mean, what a wild scenario! But it was just a wild. The whole thing was wild. Like Sepp Straka,
it's just wild that he's even there.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, how in the world? Why
playing like shit? And
he's been terrible. He's been so terrible. He's been lost. It was crazy. I tell you what else, though, man. What it also reiterated for me is the FedEx system is still busted. Like, they got to fix the FedEx system because had going into Sunday, had JJ Spawn won that thing yesterday, JJ Spawn would have been the number 2 guy in the FedEx Cup playoffs. Can you imagine? Can you
Yeah.
imagine? Can you imagine if that had held up and JJ Spawn was in the top 3 going into Eastlake? Like, literally, JJ Spawn has a 2-shot advantage over freaking John Rahm. And I just shudder to think at what would have happened. And obviously, these are a lot of ifs, but if he'd also won, like, can you imagine it was going into Sunday, it was more feasible that JJ Spawn would be lifting the whatever the FedEx Cup trophy is called. Maybe it's just called the FedEx Cup trophy. It was more feasible that he would be lifting that trophy than so many names. So many names. And it would just be an absolute PR disaster for the PGA Tour to have JJ Spawn winning any playoff event and, of course, winning the FedEx Cup, which
Yeah,
didn't
but I
happen.
mean, they have to make the playoffs mean something somehow. They can't just
But see,
give it to Scheffler, and so there. But I agree with what you're saying. It's just I don't know how you do it when like if you think about it when in like any other playoff, like if you win a game, like you're moving on and you're like you got a chance. It's like that's like the Giants winning the Super Bowl a few years ago when they had Eli Manning and they beat the damn undefeated Patriots.
yeah, I don't know. I think I can't remember who wrote it up on Twitter, but somebody was like, they just need to do it like F1, and the regular season determines the winner. And if you have more points at the end of the season, you're the FedEx Cup. I think the playoffs, we may just be being too cute here with the
I
playoffs.
agree. I do think there's some
And the
cuteness
points
to
are
it.
way too elevated for 1 week out of the year. I mean, we're literally JJ Spawn. My God. Even Sepp Straka's jumped up to what? Straka's now the 8th player. He has more FedEx Cup points than Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, Sung J M, Matt Fitzpatrick, Cam Young, John Rahm, Hideki Matsuyama. Like, it's incredible.
But it'll kind of once they get to the Tour Championship, look at the Tour Championship winners. Have we seen like really a fluke Tour Championship winner or FedEx Cup winner? Sorry, not Tour Championship.
I don't know. I have a
Have
terrible
we seen it?
I don't know. We've not seen one the likes of what a Sepp
Like a
Straka
JJ
or a
Spawn or
JJ
a
Spawn would be. No, but
Can
it
you
would be a
imagine though?
disaster if the 1 year it happened was with all this live stuff
With the
going on.
live stuff, that'd be great.
Oh,
Let's
Pat!
have that happen.
Speaking of live and FedEx Cup people, we got a voicemail. We got a voicemail.
Oh.
The number 3 player in the FedEx Cup has left the Tour Junkies a voicemail. A lot of people didn't even know that that the hotline bling is still a thing. Our voicemail is still active. You can always call and leave a voicemail at any time. And we'd love to have you do that. Love to have you call on the show and do that. The number is 7066 addict. Now that's not a self-help line if you have an issue. That's the wrong number, but it's
Yeah, we don't need
706-623-3428. 706-623-3428. That's the hotline. And we had a pro call in and leave us a voicemail. He's a friend of the podcast. Let's hear what he has to say. I'm excited about this. Then fire. Actually left us 2 voicemails because he forgot something on the end.
Yeah, really? G'day, boys. This is Cam here. Got your message there, DB. Just want to call in the show, leave a voicemail. I know you boys are busy planning the BMW. And, thanks for checking in, mate. Hip's okay. When you're dragging around this massive that I got that's just slapping, mushroom bruising Jay Monahan all over the PGA Tour. Had some hip issues, mate, but feeling fine. Just definitely gonna rest up. I mean, these just I'm third in the not the President's Cup, mate. Who gives a flying about the President's Cup, mate? Okay, don't put that on the show, mate. But yeah, I mean, third in the FedEx Cup standings, and I don't have to play this week, mate. I can just kick it and still continue to drag my massive all over the hallowed grounds of Eastlake, and so I can get the big 15 mil or 18 mil, I don't know, whatever it is, mate. Whatever it is, I'll take it. Straight onto the plane at the next LIV event in Boston, mate. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be on the plane in Boston, partying with the boys. Thanks for checking in, though. I'm fine. Just dragging my massive hog around the PGA Tour. So thanks for checking in, boys. Have a good one. I'll send you my bets for the week too. The BMW. I got some bets I'm going to throw in. I'll send those to you, boys. Cheers.
Nice.
Boys, Cam here again. Forgot to tell you one thing you asked about, mate. You asked about the penalty shots. And yeah, guess what, boys? I called it on myself, boys. Yeah. I thought it would be fun, mate, to just, give the JJ Spawn guy or whatever his name is, give him a little extra buffer, a little extra cushion. Planning on taking him down even with the 2-stroke penalty. Yeah, it didn't work out that way though, mate. The stick figure happened to pull it out. Willie Z. Good for him. But if you boys think I cared about winning 1 million at TPC Southwind, you got another thing coming, mate. I wanted to give the JJ Spawn fella sitting at 200 and who gives a in the FedEx Cup standings a little bit of a buffer so that when I ran him down on Sunday, it'd be that much more amazing. But yeah, called it on myself, boys. Wasn't even the tour. They could take credit for it though, mate. They could take credit. All right, I'm out of here, boys. Cheers, mate.
Wow, what a couple voicemails from Cam Smith. Clearly, I think he's ready to go scorched earth, Pat. Like he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. He doesn't care. He's just ready to roll. Throwing shots at Jay Monahan, throwing shots at JJ Spawn.
He's really into like dragging his stuff around. Like he talks about that a lot. Like he likes his. He's pretty proud of it.
If you're the Open champion, you're the Players Championship. I don't imagine there's a lot of big dick energy coming out of the Cam Smith household. But I'm grateful, that his hip's okay. Apparently.
What an honorable guy too. He calls it on the penalty on himself just to try and give JJ Spawn a chance.
Yeah. Also, like that's a pretty. I think that's right out of Greg Norman's book. Actually, Greg Norman may have called him on Saturday, and had him do that. Honestly, it sounds like that could have been what happened to spot JJ a couple strokes. Which honestly, he still would have thumped JJ because he clearly lost it on Sunday, but he just wouldn't have passed Will Z. So. Thanks to Cam Smith. Whatever you think of Cam Smith right now with the decision he's made, we're still very appreciative of him for coming on the podcast. So, yes, thank you, Kistler, for the stereotypical Aussie emojis in the chat. Love that. Awesome. Well, this is what you get with the Tour Junkies show. You get pros calling in and leaving voicemails. Cam's done that twice. He's a big. Let me do the interview with him the last time, I guess. All right, well, let's move on, Pat, shall we? You want to talk about the betting board?
Let's do that.
I didn't do a course breakdown video this week because we're at Wilmington Country Club, and it's like we're going to stop here, and then who knows when we'll be back here, and it's a lot of work, so F it. But here's what, it's a par 71, 7,500 yards. We have already heard from a couple people on site. I talked about it in the First Look Betting show this morning. This is, to me, and what we've heard, bomber's paradise. Like, grip it and rip it. The rough's going to be a little juicy, but it doesn't matter. There's a lot of openings in the front of these greens. There's some bunker hazards out there for sure. I think there's like 91 bunkers. The greens are absolutely massive. They're like 8,100 square feet on average. They're bent grass. Sure, there's tiers and undulations, but you're going to have a high green and reg number. If you're scrambling, you're screwed. And I think winning score is going to be in that 16 to 18 under kind of spot, depending on weather. I haven't looked at that. So that's what we're looking at here. Obviously, this is a second playoff event, only 70 guys. You're giving the best players in the world 4 rounds at it. You're probably going to have a shorter number win this thing. So, it's not going to be, I don't think JJ Spawn's winning this week, but who knows? He almost got it done last week. Let's look at the top of the board. Rory McIlroy is your overwhelming favorite here. Let's see. And I thought I had, hold on. I got to get used to my new, here we go.
Rory McIlroy.
Yes, I got my drops reorganized. Rory McIlroy is your betting favorite at 10-1. Xander, Willie Z, Tony Finau, Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay, Matt Fitzpatrick, Justin Thomas, and John Rahm all at 14-1 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Sung Jae, Colin Morikawa at 20-1, and Burns and Cam Young's dropped to 25-1. He was longer this morning. So, this is rough. This is rough for the Tour Junkie show. a lot of short names in here, a lot of short knockers in here. I've already fired on a lot of names that I threw out there in the first look betting show this morning. By the way, Pat, cracked 100 live viewers on the betting first look show this morning. Did you know that?
Wow. No,
100.
I was in the midst of caddy.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were. I don't know if I don't know if I would call what you did caddy. You pushed a cart with a vodka drink in it for a U.S. mid amateur. I
No,
mean, I don't know.
no, I told you there was no vodka in that Yeti. There was no
I,
vodka in that Yeti.
mm-mm.
We didn't do it though. We didn't do it. Anyway, yeah, so I didn't get to watch.
Yeah, 100 live viewers at one point for the first look show. We got a lot of crowd participation. But there's a couple names in here I fired on, and if you missed the train, you've missed the train. So I guess the most interesting names in here for me, Willie Z, Tony Finau. I don't know why we stopped there. I guess the Willie Z thing is like, how do we think he's going to respond? Monkey off the back, finally gets it done. The guy's got to be relieved. How does he respond? Right? Like, I feel like with Willie Z, he's not one that will respond by taking his foot off the gas, especially in the in
I
the
don't
second
think
round of the playoffs. I don't think that's what he's going to do. You agree?
I do agree. I don't think he is. I mean, I think he's. I mean, and then for him, a guy like him, who's we've talked about this. I mean, you said 2 weeks ago that I bet him too much because I think he's going to win, and then he finally does. He breaks through, and you got a little bit of a monkey off your back. Like, you don't have to think when is that win going to come, and now he can maybe play a little more freer. It's like Finau. I mean, Finau was. It took a long time for him to get like a real win, I think. And then, this year he wins 2 in a row. I think Willie Z can win again this week. I do.
So I tell you what's crazy. I looked at 3-putt avoidance. I put some 3-putt avoidance in my model, my initial model on Fantasy National. Obviously with 8,100 square foot greens. Willie Z, 7th in the field. Not over the last 24 rounds, but over the last 50 rounds. Over the last 50 rounds, long term, not like recent. Hey, the putting things that you've been working on with Josh Gregory are finally working. Not recent Willie Z. 50 rounds back, he is 7th in this field in 3-putt avoidance. That is significant. I mean, this place fits him very, very well. So I think Willie Z, Tony Finau, you continue to ride it. Scotty Scheffler is also interesting to me at 18. I think he's at 18-1. Scheffler's at 18-1 on PointsBet. I mean, he had a horrible putting day. I think it was Friday. Was it Friday and Thursday? Let's see. Round 1, Scheffler lost. Oh yeah. Round 1. Just in round 1, Scotty Scheffler lost 4.65 strokes putting. That is incredible. That's incredible. Round 2, he gained 3/4 of a stroke in round 2, but it was too late. So I think we
maybe his
back.
little episode with Cam
Yeah,
kind of reversed the whole mojo. Like, he was trying to mess with Cam, and maybe it messed with him when he found out people saw it. And
maybe
if you didn't see it, he walked in front of him while Cam was lining up a putt. He did not walk in his line, which I think most people thought. He did not walk in his line, but he did walk directly
right
in front of Cam, which
he was reading the putt.
Yeah.
By the way, Scotty Scheffler 12th in 3-putt avoidance in this 68-man field. So anyway, I like Scheffler. I like that we're getting a little bit of a bump down in the odds for Scheffler. 18-1 on PointsBet's the best number I've found. So for me, it's Finau, it's Willie Z, and it's Scotty Scheffler up here.
See, I don't have Willie Z written down, but I do like him. I do think he can win. I have Finau. I think 16-1 is the best number I saw. I like Morikawa. Morikawa is 22-1. You look at Morikawa last week, and I know everybody was kind of off of him, and he finished 5th last week. Gained 7.8 strokes total. 1.5 strokes off the tee, 3.2 on approach, which you would expect from him. So the ball striking is getting a little bit better, And then he gained 2.6 strokes putting, which is the first time he's gained strokes putting since the Genesis in February. The Genesis in February.
That's the first time he's gained strokes putting.
That's the first time. Now, I'm not counting. I
God,
don't have numbers for the Open, and I don't have numbers
oh,
for the Masters. But still,
you can get them. You should look at them. You can look at them. Data golf.
well,
Anyway,
I didn't have time to get a data golf day.
That's
But
impressive.
still, I
Yeah,
mean,
he
so
wasn't on my.
maybe the
He didn't
putter's
have
coming
him.
around.
Yeah, it was interesting to see him have a good week. I still don't know. Like, is he in like ready to win again form? Obviously, he's a world class player, so he can win at any moment. I guess. I'm just leaning more towards the guys that hit it a long way, and not that Colin can't move it out there a little bit, but in that area, I went with different guys.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for that range, right? We good
That's
on
all
that
I
range?
have. That's all I have there.
All right, let's move on. Mid-range 20, so longer than 25 to 1, up to 75 to 1 on DraftKings. You got Ju Young Kim still doing his thing. Jordan Spieth. God, Jordan Spieth broke. He hurt both of us last
He
week.
hurt he hurt me.
Joaquin Neiman's in here. Connors, Adam Scott, who really surged up on the weekend. Aaron Wise, Billy Ho. What's Hideki going to do? He withdrew last week, citing a neck injury. I don't know
I'm staying away
what's
from him.
happening there. Brian Harmon surging up the leaderboard last week as well. Henley, Mito, Matt McNeely, Davis Riley, a few of the names in the 70 to 1 range and shorter on DraftKings. My absolute favorite play in this range is easily head and shoulders Joaquin Neiman.
Yes. All right.
Is that your favorite play?
That's the first one. He's right here. First.
All right, so we've got
First.
consensus on our favorite in this range. You get Joaquin continuing the ball striking assault off the tee and on approach. Now, last week, and I think this is something to pay attention to. Last week, we saw some people with good short games losing strokes around the green, like Joaquin Neiman. Now, Joaquin Neiman historically great around the greens, but that grainy Bermuda in Memphis is no joke. And some of these guys just don't do well on it. Like, and Neiman doesn't really putt that well on it. He's not terrible, but he doesn't putt that well on Bermuda. So to see him, be about average on the field and putting and lose strokes around the green on that grainy Bermuda doesn't bother me. And I think he's just going to hit so many greens in reg here. It's not going to matter anyway, but he prefers bent grass putting. I love Neiman here. Anybody that can win the Genesis Invitational can win a playoff event. So I love Neiman. He's at 45 to 1 on FanDuel. That's the best number you can get. I also strongly like my next two guys. Like I said, yeah, because I said
I don't know if I've
Neiman.
ever heard you use those two words together.
I do. I
strongly like.
Well, because I love Neiman, but I don't want my love for Neiman to overshadow my deep affinity for these two guys. Wait a minute, Neiman's 34 to 1. Okay, well he's shortened significantly. He's shortened.
I see him at 40 to 1 on DK right this minute.
I know, but he was at 45 on FanDuel this morning, and that's when I wrote this down. So get him on DraftKings. 40 to 1 is fine. Get him on DraftKings at 40 to 1. 34 sucks. That sucks. Get him on DraftKings now. He's gonna get shorter. Anyway, I don't want my love for Joaquin Neiman to overshadow how much I really like these next two guys too. And we're getting into like bomb territory here, and this is how much I like them, even in this field. I like Aaron Wise a lot at 60 to 1 yet again. I played him in DraftKings last week. That worked out. He was on the betting card. Obviously, he's an outright. That didn't necessarily work out, but he had a good week. What did he finish 13th or something, or what? Where am I? 31st, whatever. Gained 6.4 strokes ball striking, but like Joaquin Neiman, a guy who typically gains strokes around the green, loses 2 strokes around the green, loses a stroke and a half on the putting surface. But he's not a Bermuda guy. He sucks on Bermuda, and he sucks chipping on Bermuda. So I think that Aaron Wise at 60 to 1, the ball striking just continues for the young guy. He is a guy that I wrestle with in terms of like, can he actually win, right? But I know that he can. It's been a long time since he's done it. His ball striking is just so good, and I think a guy like that, I trust that. So I think he can get it done. He's been doing it well for long enough. And then Cam Davis at 70 to 1, I think is the best number you can get Cam on points bet. Had another good finish this past week at St. Jude. Now he gets to open it up a little bit with the driver. If you paid attention, last week we talked about TPC Southwind is going to it's going to limit the amount of strokes off the tee that the bombers could really get. It doesn't mean they can't gain strokes off the tee with distance, but it's going to compress it a little bit. And that's what I've seen as I've dug into a lot of these bombers that played Southwind last week. Their average strokes gained off the tee that they gain on a given tournament is not as high as is higher than it was last week at Southwind. A lot of them, and it's because Southwind makes you club down on a handful of holes, and they lose a little bit of that. Here at Wilmington, I think these guys are going to unload on a lot of holes. We've got some inside info in the Nut Hut that's been dropped about this golf course. Maybe a hole by hole description of what could happen off the tee with bunker placement, with cutting corners, with all that kind of stuff. Another reason to be in the Nut Hut. I think Cam Davis is going to get to unload driver this week. The irons have been hot. The short game is hot. He loves bent grass. 70-1 for Cam Davis at PointsBet is another one that I really like. So for me, it's Neiman, Wise, and Davis in this range.
All right, so I had 4 written down in this range. 2 of them are you've already talked about, and that is Neiman and Davis. So we're in agreement there. So I don't need to talk anymore about those 2. I like them a lot this week. The other one I kind of cheated a little bit because he was in the first range, but I've seen him at 28-1, and that's Cam Young. So I think if you can get Cam Young at 28-1, I think you got to get that and jump on that. He checks the box and everything. So. And then Adam Scott. I skipped him last week.
God, he annoys the crap out of me.
So annoying because
I wish Adam Scott would go to LIV. I'm ready for Adam Scott to go to LIV. First class.
Why does he keep having these like one shitty round? Like he'll do so good and then he'll shoot 4 over in a round for no freaking reason.
He drives me nuts.
But he's playing well. He's playing well.
Send Adam Scott to LIV Island. Send his handsome, chiseled Australian ass straight to LIV Island.
I can't even believe he's not there. Why is he not on the island right now?
What? He drives me nuts. I cannot stand Adam Scott. It's when I play him, he does exactly what you said. The one like horrible round will come on Thursday or Friday, and he trunk slams. When I don't play him, he looks like hot garbage the whole week. Barely sneaks in on the cut. And then shoots like a 9 under on a Saturday or Sunday to storm up the leaderboard. And he gains 40-11 strokes putting out of nowhere. I'm so sick of him. I'm so sick of handicapping him. I am done with Adam Scott. I freaking hate. I'm tired of his awful wardrobe. I'm tired of the muted colors and the weird combos of colors. He's not as handsome as he used to be anymore. Whoa. He's not. Adam Scott has not gotten better with age. If you talk about some good looking, older like Silver Fox types, right? Like George Clooney's or Fred
but I mean,
Couples.
I'm not. Look,
Adam Scott has lost. He's lost it. He's lost it.
He's walking on the fairway, and our wives are with us at the Masters. Let's just pretend here for a second. They're gonna say something still. They're gonna be like, "Who? Who is that?" I think they're still gonna like wonder about it. But the thing is, if you could have picked when LIV started, and you had 10 guys, and you could write them down 1 through 10, who's going to go to LIV? Adam Scott's in the top 10, but he's not there yet. What is he doing? Is he messing with us?
I don't know, man. I'm so sick of that guy. I'm so sick of him. I'm done. I don't want to hear about him anymore. I want him to go to LIV. And we're going to cover
him. But he might win this week because there's one reason why I put him out there to bet on him. He's playing well, man. He's playing well.
Is he? What? He just has
top 15 like 2 weeks ago and then a 5th last week.
Oh, God. I can't stand. Okay. Are we ready to move on? We moving on?
I think we need to move on.
Speaking of,
have 2 guys in the next range.
Speaking of getting, by the way, getting older, some of y'all are getting older and you're losing your hair, and you don't have to choose between hair growth, better hair growth and your health and all that stuff. There's a great holistic solution that promotes healthier hair and whole body wellness, and you can get all that instead of that thinning stuff. You know what I mean? Losing your hair letting loose, your hair going off to join LIV, and then you can't get it back. You got Nutrafol. They're the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve hair growth, thickness, and visible scalp coverage. Nutrafol's hair growth stuff goes beyond genetics to multi-target the root causes of thinning, hair, like stress, hormones, nutrition, metabolism, aging, like Pat and Adam Scott, and lifestyle through whole
God,
body
you're
health.
such an ageist.
Physician formula using natural medical grade ingredients. Nutrafol's drug-free patented technology provides consistent, reliable results without compromising your health. Okay. In a clinical study, men showed progressive improvement in hair growth and thickness after just 3 and 6 months. And they're recommended and trusted by more than 3,000 top, I already said it, top doctors. You can grow thicker, healthier hair and support our show by going to Nutrafol.com/what? Nutrafol.com/men. Oh, okay. Nutrafol.com/men /men.
Man,
I think I
you
played
remember
this
that
game
from
before.
last time?
And entering the promo code Tour Junkies to save $15 off your first month subscription. This is their best offer anywhere. It's only available to U.S. customers for a limited time. That's free shipping on every order and get $15 off at Nutrafol.com/men, spelled Nutrafol.com/men. Promo code Tour Junkies. I don't know why I'm getting hung up on that. It's like men on film from In Living Color. A lot of y'all too young. You listen, you watch this show, you're like, what the hell?
What's he talking about?
In Living Color had the best. In Living Color was great content, and that was when people were allowed to get bullied. You know what I mean?
That was also when you could say things that like not everybody would get offended about.
That's what I'm saying. In Living Color was incredibly In Living Color today would make people's heads spin off their neck and like roll on the floor. And
they would not be able to.
They could not take it. They hit everybody on In Living Color. It didn't matter what your issue was. You got pounded on In Living Color. Yeah. But Men on Film, can you imagine a men on golf picking or handicapping, and they get to Adam Scott? Yes, Nick knows it. Hated it.
How about Benny in here in the chat? Benny, stop worrying about my hair. Okay? Don't worry about it.
Oh, dang. Benny throwing shots at Pat's quaff.
Benny, don't worry about it.
Benny,
man.
I like it. Benny, you should join Team DB. By the way, this week is the last week to sign up for the Golby's Cup event for the 2-day ticket, the live golf event, the first ever, the inaugural Tour Junkies live golf event happening September 24th and 25th in Pottsville, Pennsylvania at Mountain Valley Golf Course. It's going to be amazing. Team DV versus Team Pat. We were finalizing some details last week. It's going to be so freaking lit. I'm so excited. The showdown at the end, the Ryder Cup match play. Listen to this. Team DB, Team Pat, all the teams gathered around the first hole, music blaring, drinks flowing, right? And the team captains, DB and Pat, sending their guys off 2 by 2 on the first tee to have to tee it off in front of everybody, right? And you got to
have. I just thought
going, earn points for your team. What
thought about this?
What should we have?
We should have like live betting odds on somebody topping it off the tee. Like you see a guy and you're like, oh, wait a second.
That's you mean like what you did at my member guest like 2 days?
Yeah, like I did. So like I would have probably like pretty low odds to top it off the first tee, but you might like, because it's hard to do that.
It's gonna be great though. And then the showdown, the shootout at the end, it's gonna be epic. The party Friday night is gonna be epic. So if you want to get a part of that 2-day event, there's like 2 spots left on each team, and then but even if we don't fill those 2, we're closing it up. So team communications are going to start going out. Team uniforms and stuff being discussed. Pat's already in the work. He's all of his free time is devoted to that these days. It's going to be pretty epic. I'm just telling you that you are not going to want to miss this. It's going to be a great time. So if you can make it happen, you got to get your tickets by this Friday, and it's gone. It's gone. Then you can only come on Saturday, or you can come Friday night and party if you pay cash. But then Saturday you can come and play in that event, which is going to be sick too. We'll be talking about that more in detail in the coming weeks. All right, Pat, let's look at the next range. Up to 130 to 1. Long shots, and this is going to be tough because it's some of the best names in golf, guaranteed 4 rounds. This is probably not going to work out. But who do we like in here? You got Pendrith, Thigala at 90 to 1. And that's it. I mean, Denny McCarthy had a good week. But
yeah, I've got 2 in here, and I think these are the only 2 that I can really feel like they could have a potential to win. One is Sahith Thigala at 90 to 1. Big fan. Obviously, he's played well all year long. So I like Sahith. He can tend to spray it a little bit with the driver, but you know what? He didn't last week.
Yeah, he didn't.
On Prize Picks, I took the under on fairways hit day 1, which was at 8. because he sprays it all over the place, and he freaking hit like 13 fairways. I was like, what the hell? So obviously he doesn't spray it as much as I thought he did, and definitely
Probably
has.
clubbed down. He probably clubbed down.
I'm sure he did, but he definitely has a little bit of distance here. So I like Sahith. And then I like HV3. I like HV3 at 130 to 1. He's played well in the playoffs in the past. Definitely has plenty of distance, putts well on bent grass greens. He's top 10 in the field in strokes gained approach. I know the form has been, not exactly where you'd want it to be recently, but I do like HV3 this week. I think this is a good course fit for him, even though he's missed the last 2 cuts. But I think he can make a strong run this week. And 130 to 1, I'm liking it. So those are my 2.
His birthday, by the way. Turned 32 today.
Yeah.
Okay. Who else? Sahith and HV. That's it.
I said I had 2, so that was
okay.
all.
Okay. I like mine way better than yours. I don't like either one of yours. I'm gonna go Davis Riley, 80 to 1. Bet MGM is the best number you can get on Riley. I think this kid. I think the game, the fit is right for him off the tee. He can use that sweet swing of his that he can bomb it out there. Hopefully the irons click a little bit. The guy's been in the fire enough, I think, that he's got the chops at 80 to 1. I could see Davis Riley getting it done. But I'm actually more excited about a guy at 110 to 1. And that is on FanDuel, unless it's shortened. But I'm gonna go to your boy Mito that you talked up last week. I like Mito. He didn't do great at the FedEx St. Jude, finished 42nd. But again, I think this course is better off. I think it's not gonna bridle him off the tee like maybe Southwind did. He gained no strokes off the tee at Southwind, gained 3.5 with his irons, struggled on the Bermuda surfaces, chipping and putting, which is a thing. But Mito at 110 to 1 on FanDuel, I like it. All right. Let's move on to the last range here, because actually there's some breaking news I want to see if we could cover before we have to get off of this.
Oh gosh, did somebody withdraw I don't know about?
No.
Okay,
good. But we already heard from him. All right, bombs over 130 to 1. These are guys who are basically a lot of them are on the outside looking into the top 30 to make it to East Lake, and I do think we'll talk about this a little more on DraftKings, but I do think it's an interesting spot, like the guys from the 25 to 40 maybe range. Like guys like Lucas Glover last week made huge jumps up the board. Now, the big jumps up the board are going to be harder to do this week than they were last week. But it can, you can see guys make a 10-spot jump here, depending on how they play. But I just think that's something to pay attention to in that like 25 to 40 range, more so than these guys at like 70, because like Wyndham Clark's going to have to, if he doesn't like finish like top 5, he's probably not going to get there. And so if he's not looking to finish top 5 by Saturday or Sunday, I don't know what that looks like for him. But anyway, in this range, I like 2 guys. Obviously, Siwoo Kim at 150 to 1. Like 4 rounds, he can go home, but he doesn't have to. So I feel like, we may as well see what happens with Siwoo. We know the firepower Siwoo contains within his body. He gained strokes everywhere ball striking last week. Lost 5 strokes putting last week on his way to finishing 42nd. Gained like almost 7 strokes, did gain 7 strokes tee to green. So Siwoo at 150 to 1.
Did he break his putter again? Was he putting with his driver?
I don't know. He should. He should after that. So I'm all in on Siwoo at 150 to 1. That's just too good of a number for Siwoo Kim. It really is. And then I don't know how you can't bet Trey Mullinax at 150 to 1.
Yes.
As good as he's playing, having just won a couple weeks ago, as good as he played just yesterday, last week, late on Sunday. Wasn't he in the final group with no, he wasn't in the final group. He was in the second.
He was second or third.
But I mean, 150 to 1 for Mullinax, and this is a great fit for him. Big time hitter. Did you see his ball speed? I want to say on one of the last holes they showed his shot tracer. They had the TrackMan or whatever number out, and I think Willie Z hit it like, I think he got up to like Willie Z was up to like 172 or 175, and Mullinax was like 185 ball speed. That is movement. So I
mean, we talked about him a lot last week. We liked him. I know he's a top 20 for me on this show. I know we maybe
Yeah.
have had him as an outright, but people forget how good he is. And then he just had that injury, and things kind of derailed a little bit for him. But I think Mullinax is a fantastic player. I mean, he's not going away. This is his success this year is not something that's just
Yeah.
a flash in the pan or whatever. I think he's a good golfer, and I think we'll see him. Well, we're obviously going to see more of him.
Yeah,
So.
for sure. And if you don't like the outright value, I mean, obviously it's going to be hard for a guy like that to win in this field. But if you don't like the outright at 150, top 10, top 20 for sure. All right, who you got?
Well, I liked both of those guys, Siwoo Kim and Mullinax. But I will add this. I think Wyndham Clark, who you mentioned a little bit, he's at 150 to 1. I do like him. I mean, you look at
Wyndham Clark's not going to win his first event at the BMW Championship. He's not going to close. He's not going to finally close the door at the
JJ Spawn almost won last week, and I know he won a tournament this year, but still,
yeah, and then he shot like 14 over on Sunday.
Wyndham Clark still, I mean, he checks a lot of boxes this week. I mean, 15th in the field off the tee, top 10 in driving distance. He's 10th in putting on bent grass greens. 10th.
He's a good putter. He's a great putter. He hits it a mile.
I think Wyndham Clark can win this week.
Okay. All right.
The other guy that I think is just a long shot, just because he's the very longest shot is 250 to 1 Kurt Kitayama, who does check a lot of boxes this week. And,
actually, so that leads me to a top 20. Actually.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about favorite outrights. A few top 20s we like. We'll button this up. Presented to you by our friends at Covers. Winning starts at covers.com. Check out the head-to-head article and the top 20 article that drops on Tuesday. All right, go ahead and give the video a like and subscribe too, by the way, if you haven't already. And a comment. I wanted to ask people this. Your best golf travel experience. So the course, the venues that you went to, the travel agency that you may have used. We're very interested to hear your experiences. So put that in the YouTube chat, YouTube comments, your best golf travel experience. And like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All right. My favorite bets are probably Tony Finau at 16 to 1. Scotty Scheffler at 18 to 1. Joaquin Niemann at 45 to 1. Cam Davis at 70 to 1. And that's probably it. Those are my favorite outrights.
Okay, well, we have a lot of agreements. I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Well, we can have agreement.
But I'll go. I will say Morikawa. I'm still on Morikawa. I like him at 22 to 1. If you can get him at that number, I'm with you on Neiman, so I'll go there on Neiman, and then I think I'm going to throw in Sahith Theegala at 90 to 1.
Okay,
but I like Cam Davis too. He would have been my other choice there. So,
favorite top 20 numbers. And I'm looking at longer shot top 20. I'm not trying to give you the short guys. Cam Davis at plus 175. I really like that one. Aaron Wise at plus 160 on DraftKings. I talked about Aaron Wise in the outright section as well as Davis. But Wise at 160, Davis at plus 175. I like that a lot. He disappointed a lot of people. He missed the cut. I was all over him last week in Memphis, and that's Scott Stallings. It could have been the local factor going on. He had a lot of friends and family in town. We learned about that in the Nut Hut on Wednesday night, and I basically said that could be a good thing or a bad thing. It turned out it might have been a bad thing. But I like him here to bounce back, plus 275 as well. I like Emiliano Grillo at plus 275. The guy continues to gain strokes putting, Pat. Gain strokes putting.
No way that's happening.
Yeah, unless Fantasy National has a hacker. Where's he from? Argentina? Maybe there's an Argentina hacker at Fantasy National that's a huge Grillo fan and is fudging the numbers. But in the last 3 events that I have strokes gain data, the John Deere, the 3M, and the FedEx, he has gained. Listen to this. In those 3 events, over 11 strokes putting, Pat. 11.
Hard to argue with that.
That's insane. So plus 275 for Grillo. I like it because the ball striking is usually pretty sick. And then I think you mentioned Kitayama, my 2 long shots at 4 to 1, because that's about as long as it's going to get.
As long as they got.
Top 20 with 68 guys. Kitayama at 4-1 just because of the course fit, the bomber, all that. But Straka, like Straka at 4-1, we may as well. He's probably going to go back to his. I mean, he can't miss the cut here, so I don't know, but 4-1, he almost won. Like, I feel like that's.
I actually have SEP written down because I think if you want to take plus 400 is the longest shot you're going to get on top 20s this week.
Yeah.
So why not go with a guy that just played well, and you can get him at plus 400. So I like him. Plus 275 is kind of a little bit of the sweet spot. There's a lot of guys there other than the that are right around that mid range or at plus 275. I have Cam Davis, so just like you said, at plus 175. I have Wyndham Clark top 20 at plus 275, and then Trey Mullinax also at plus 275. So those are my favorite top 20s, and I like I said, I wrote down Sep as well at plus 400. So
good bit of agreement on the show. I like that. Those are our favorite outright bets. Our top 20s presented by Covers. Winning starts at covers.com. All right, Pat, before we get out of here, and we're going to start the DraftKings show a little early tonight, but before we get out of here, this just broke. Alan Shipnuck, apparently he's a capital J journalist. Look at producer Sam. I'm hearing tomorrow's PGA Tour's player meeting regarding LIV is going to be a banger. Supposedly everything is on the table, from major championship boycotts to Monahan's future to a larger compromise. And Tiger MF Woods is expected to fly in to provide counsel / bully / cajole. That's from Adam Shipnuck. See, bring back bullying. Tiger Woods is going to
bring him back, bully. I posted that, by the way, in the Nut Hut before the show. About 45 minutes before the show, I posted that tweet.
Oh, I thought it just hit. No. Yeah, I mean, that's very interesting. I was actually just talking to a fellow Augusta native today, and we were wrestling with what is Augusta National going to do about LIV. And I've flip-flopped. I originally did not think Augusta National was gonna do anything. I did not think they were gonna ban players. And then I kind of went to this idea that they won't ban the past champions, but they may ban the others. And now I think I'm actually thinking that Augusta National may just go full scorched earth on this whole thing.
I don't think that they can do. You can't take a stance against LIV, and then also have a qualifier that. But so we're having this big stance against LIV. Oh, but if you're a champion at Augusta.
That's why
I don't think they can do that. You can't do that because
no, they can.
Well, they can, but it doesn't really resonate a whole lot when you're saying, okay, if you go to LIV, you're banned from playing the Masters, but oh yeah, we'll let the champions in, even if they're at LIV. Like, and it's a tradition from the start of the Masters that's never gone away. So they would have to go away from a tradition that's been there forever.
But I think it could now. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm looking at it, as quiet as Augusta's been, I'm actually starting to think that because of what you just said, they're not going to let one group in and not let another one in that qualified. They are going to go all or nothing. Either there is going to be zero ban and anybody that meets the qualifications can play or is going to show up, or it's going to be a full ban from Augusta. I think it could. I'm actually leaning more that I think Augusta may full ban. The interesting thing is we'll find out in December when we were talking about this today with my buddy. In December is when all the invitations get sent out, and that's when the players start, tweeting like, "Oh, I had to go to the bathroom by myself because I got my Augusta National invitation in the mail," and the guys that don't get them might be going, "Wait a minute."
So they typically do like a January press conference. That's usually the last year's champion that's in there. I have a feeling they may do something before the end of the year and before the invites go out. And you may see like a special Augusta National press conference. Or they could do the complete opposite. They just send the invites out and we can. I feel like they would want to get ahead of it. Like they don't want to be like have all these invites go out and all of a sudden Dustin Johnson doesn't get one and Charles Schwartzel doesn't get one, and then they got to answer the questions after that fact.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm So yeah, I'm excited about tomorrow. I'm excited about tomorrow's player meeting. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we can get some juice on it. Who knows what'll actually be leaked out of that. I'm sure that's not an open press conference. But yeah, interesting
I
stuff.
like the comments though that we get because, like in the chat, and I'm not calling anybody out here, but David and I have both been around Augusta and the Augusta National for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think they know how to do things the right way, you got another thing coming. These guys rarely make a mistake.
So methodically done and well thought out, and they will have thought out about every freaking step a mile
Everything
down the road.
imaginable. So if you think they're just going to make a mistake, which they may do, but if you just think it's just going to happen without a lot of thought, you got another thing coming.
The other thing, and that's what I was talking about with my buddy today. It's like they are still truly an invitational tournament.
Yeah.
And if they want to say, you know what, we changed the rules. We can invite whoever the hell we want to invite. Whether you were top 50 in the world or you finished top 10 last year, we don't give a rip. Guess what? It's 2023. We just changed the rules. There's nothing you can do about it. So they can invite whoever. If they want to invite you, they can invite you. It doesn't matter. They are the only tournament in the world, or on the PGA, on the big professional scale, that can do whatever they want. That doesn't have these qualifiers and these things outlined in a way that locks them in. It just doesn't. They can change them whenever they want, and nobody can say anything. You either go or you don't go. That's it. So, all right, we got to get to the DFS show. Thanks for watching. Let's bend over our bookies this week, people. Next week's gonna suck. Oh, by the way, I will be credentialed media next week. Speaking of LIV, I'll be talking about that. I'll be at Eastlake for the Tour Championship.
Big step for us. Last time we were credentialed, I got basically kicked out.
Yeah, you got us freaking banned. So
I didn't do anything wrong.
Thank God I'm back in the saddle at Eastlake for Monday and Tuesday. If you're out there, you're walking around Atlanta, give me a shout. I'll be there, and the content will be whatever, because next week sucks from DFS and betting content. So I don't know what to expect, but I would follow us on social media and be prepared for the lighter content week next week. All right, that's it. Let's bend over our bookies for the Luxury Card Championship. See ya.